Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we have a guest in from Miami. Big Mike is going to tear it up. You guys, there's so many people out in this world that have stories, and you pass them on the streets, you see them on Instagram, you don't know their full story. This is an opportunity to hear what the man has to say and hear what he's all about. Come on, my dog, hit him with that shit.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Mike Forgione. Find me on Instagram, Mike Forgione. I'm in the HVAC business. I've been doing this game for about 30 years now. And now I'm coaching others to help people in the HVAC game level up, doing a little bit of fitness, getting on the game.
I love to hear that. Now, kind of like hit them with it. What was the driving factor for you to get into this space? What was what was happening in your life that drove you down the path of, we'll just say, change?
There's a point in time in your life where you're focusing on money. And when you're focusing so much on money, it's a vision that you just want to focus on getting that money all the time. But then there comes a point in time where you're like, you know what? I need to really make a switch and start focusing more on my health, family, money. Money's there. When you make the money, then you need to really understand that your health is pretty much the most important thing that you can have.
Yeah, 100%.
If you don't have the health, how are you going to create generational wealth? You got to be able to have that health. So I got into the fitness game and started really focusing more on fitness after I made all my money. And there's a time where you want to focus on everything.
Sure.
And truthfully, you really want to focus on everything.
Yeah.
But I neglected a lot of my health along the way because I was always chasing the bag. Once I got the bag, I started to realize to myself, holy shit, man, I need to really switch gears.
I'm not going to make it.
I need to really switch gears. I guess once you get into your 40s, you start thinking about that kind of stuff.
Shit, I don't know. I'm 25, baby. I don't know what you're talking about around here. 40. Jesus Christ, you're old as dirt. No, I'm kidding. Mike looks great, man. Mike's got it together. He did it. He's dropping that weight. He's continuing moving in the right direction. And just like we talked about in a lot of things is that your future and your success is linked to your personal development, whether you want to believe it or not. In certain, we'll say seasons, is a real popular term to use, but we're on that grind to develop the skill to lay down a foundation for, what matters most is, the wealth development. But at some point, you're either stuck there at a certain level because of your personal development, or your behaviors are holding you back from, reaching other levels. Mine was, vices, which was, I was using alcohol to manage my mental wellness, and anybody that you would ask will tell you that's a bad idea.
100%.
And it wasn't until I got into personal development and, reshifted my life and started to look at internal instead of outward, and apply some different principles in my daily routines that my future really opened up, and my higher potential started to be my reality.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I went through a lot of stages in life of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, clubs, girls, partying. You take a kid from the trailer park, all of a sudden you give him a pocket full of money, shit starts to change. You know what I mean?
That's funny you say that, is that I'm from the trailer park.
Really?
I grew up in the trailer park, those little paper thin walls. There was times where we didn't have, electricity and food in the refrigerator. And, I remember being sick, and my mom couldn't afford medicine, and there was no power. They had to go cut the locks on the whole thing. I mean, just really the struggle. So I think that's part of the reason why I work so hard today, is I remember those times.
You can appreciate it when it's not all gifted to you.
Yeah, I didn't get shit.
When it's not all passed down to you, and you got to earn it yourself. You got to work your way there.
You 100%. Yeah, I can't really trust a man that was born with it. Like, I have a really hard time if it's generational family money, and you just stepped into a great world. I have a hard time respecting those people, and that's not right of me, but that's the way I'm built. I love people that have come from the dirt and worked their way up, and it's hard to do that in one life cycle.
It's very, very hard, without a doubt.
I appreciate that, man. Now let's go down the path of your business. So you're Miami, right? Or areas. We'll just say greater areas of Miami. Everything's Miami within 100 miles, I think. But you're Miami, and there's a lot of distractors here, but it's hot as fuck. So you got into the HVAC game, and let's go down that. Like, how did you stumble into HVAC? I mean, and what are you doing with it? I see Grant Cardone's like scooping up HVAC businesses left and right. All these big things. That's the next cool stuff. So Kind of walk me through that. And is that part of something that you help people with, the commercial, residential? Or are you coaching in the HVAC space?
I'll tell you, Clint, there's a hidden treasure in the home service space altogether.
Right.
HVAC, plumbing, water damage restoration, electrical, all of that stuff in general. For me, when I got into HVAC, things were different. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have the things that we have now. Much easier ways to make money. The kids nowadays, they've got it so easy to be able to make money. You know, you can make money. If you got a cell phone and you got a little bit of talk game, you can make money.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in my day, talk game just got you the girls.
Right.
It didn't make you the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, it made you the money if you were a hustler and you were able to have a little bit of talk game on the streets and be able to have a little talk game in the sales era.
Right.
But not like now with the internet and Facebook and Instagram and all the different social media channels. So for me, when I first started, I was 15, 16 years old and I was cutting grass.
Yeah.
The guy that lived across the street from me literally came up to me and said, "Hey, Mike, you want to make money in the air conditioning, make more money than what you're making now?" I said, "Shit, does it pay more than $8 an hour?" And I kind of just laughed, and he laughed back at me. He said, "I'll give you 10 plus commission." I said, "Shit, I'll drop this weed eater right now. Sign me up." So all of a sudden I jumped in the truck. He taught me how to do what's called air duct cleaning, literally vacuuming out air ducts, the simplest thing in the world. But what he taught me more importantly was the art of sales, how to sell, how to upsell, how to make a friend, how to close deals with customers and bring in more money on the job. When I realized how much money I was bringing this guy, I'm getting 10 bucks an hour plus a little spiff on things that I sold. I'm bringing this guy 1,000 a day, 1,200 a day because I just had that talk game as a kid. I had the knack for sales. And all you had to do was just kind of give me the pitch and I ran with it. Once I learned how to do all that, then I was, it was off to the races. I worked with that guy for about 6 months. After working with him for about 6 months, I decided, man, I'm going to go into this business myself.
Right.
Here I am, 16 years old. My girlfriend's father at the time, I'm 16. I had this girlfriend. Her father looked at me like, I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out in literally 6th grade, and they put me through science and social studies through 6th, 7th, and 8th just to get me out of middle school. He looked at me like, this kid's going to be a bum, man. He's with my daughter, this and that. One day he's driving me home and he's like, listen, if you're going to be with my daughter, you better pick up a trade. You better learn something. So at that point, that's when I really started to learn about HVAC, and I learned the air duct cleaning game. It just clicked on me. I'm like, man, he's right. I really do need to learn something no matter what, no matter where I land up in life.
Yeah.
So I went into the HVAC game and started learning more about it. 6 months after working for that guy, I said, man, if I could just get 5 trucks on the road, I could make $5,000 a day, $1,000 a truck. That was big money for me back then. I was like, shit, kid in the trailer park, $5,000 a day, I'll be rich.
Yep.
That's
a minute.
So I just decided that I was going to continue on that path and stick with the HVAC thing. The most important things that I did along the way was study all of the big competitors, study their business model, study their front-end marketing strategy, study their back-end sales process, study their hiring process, their payroll process, how they paid their employees, how they treated their employees, all the training, all the sales training, everything that went along with the HVAC business. I studied all their marketing because that was the most important thing, is how do I generate the leads to keep these 5 trucks busy that I'll plan on going to get. I quit working for that guy after 6 months and I wanted to go on my own, but I realized that I needed an air conditioning contractor's license to go on my own.
Oh yeah, of course. You got to do it right.
Shit. And all I wanted to do was clean air ducts. So I'm like, why do I need a contractor's license for this? Anyway, back then we didn't have the internet, so we had the yellow pages. And the hustle in me said, let me call every single one of these companies in the yellow pages. I must have made about 60 phone calls and got a whole shit ton of no's. But then I got about 5 people that said yes. And I called every one of them and said, hey, let me open up an air duct cleaning department in your company. I'll use my own truck, my own gas, my own tools. We'll split everything 50-50. All you need to do is provide me the leads. And that was it. 5 people said yes. And I built relationships with 5 different AC contractors. And those relationships helped me evolve into becoming a contractor myself.
Yeah.
I worked with those guys from 16 up until I got my contractor's license, till I was about 20 years old. Once I got my contractor's license, I went on my own. I was like, all right, it's time to go on my own. I think by the time I got my contractor's license, I only had a few grand in my pocket. It wasn't nothing crazy. I was still working at a little Astro van. The money that I was making from those guys, I was making good money, but I was living,
Yeah.
I started to actually make more money than an average kid working for somebody.
That's big money when you don't have a house and responsibilities. I mean, you're 19, you got a few grand back in the day, a few grand in your pocket. You're king of the hill.
I had to split the bills with mom. I had to support mom. You know, at the end of the day, that's been my whole life. I've always had to help my mom, take care of my mom, and she's always been there to help me no matter what. I hired my mom when I was 21 years old to come and run the AC company. Had her answering the phones, booking calls, doing all that stuff. Now, finally, I just retired my mom not too long ago. Bought her a house up in Tennessee. I built her a house in Tennessee. And I had the house. I bought her a house down here too, but I literally bought that house back from her. And I set her up with a little duplex down here that she gets some residual income from. And now she gets some cash flow from the duplex. She got her house in Tennessee, brand new house that I just built for her.
She's just chilling.
Dude, mom's chilling, bro.
That's good. That's what you're supposed to, that's what a man is supposed to do. In my ideal, you know, achieved, respectable alpha male, males provide for their family. And if, you know, it's their duty, the youngsters, to take care of the elderly. We don't 100%. Really practice that a lot as a culture here, but that's what you're supposed to do. And she took care of you whole life. You treat that nice lady very well. 100%, man. 100%. Always been there for mom. Yeah, you're lucky. I didn't have that kind of mom. So when my mom croaked, I was like, thank God.
Oh, man.
She was not a nice person at all. My dad wasn't so nice either. I mean, they were horrible, but they definitely weren't on the nice side, at least to me. So
dad was never really around for me. So there wasn't really a dad figure in the life. Had a stepdad growing up, but wasn't really a dad figure in the life. So me and my mom have had that relationship like brother and sister. She's always been like a sister. You know, I could talk to her just like I'm sitting here talking to you. Sit there and kick the bobo with her, talk shit, and you know, it's all good. It works out.
She was able to step it down a notch and be a little, you know, someone that you were missing.
100%. Man.
Yeah, that's
without a doubt.
That's good as a parent. So how are you present for your children?
1000%.
Yeah, so she passed that on to you.
When you don't have a father figure in your life, the being there for your kids is a very, very important thing.
Yep.
And making sure that you go above and beyond for your kids. That's like the secret sauce for me, you know, 100%. When it comes down to it. Because I know that I want to give my kids all the things that I didn't get from my father and then some. Which is another reason why I waited to have kids, because I wanted to make sure that I was financially stable before I had kids. I had kids at a late age, man. I didn't have kids till I was in my 30s.
Wow, and that's crazy.
My kids are young, you know, 7 years old and 12 years old right now. But they've been on more fucking vacations than they can possibly even dream of thinking about. I didn't go on my first vacation until I was like 14 years old. It was the neighbor across the street's mom that took us to Disney World.
Oh, that's cool.
My kids have been to, I mean, so many different countries and all over the place. There's so many different fucking places, snowboarding every year. We go a couple weeks out of the year, and it's just been, we clown out, man.
Yeah.
We clown out.
I was fortunate that my dad got it together later in life, dropped the bottle, dropped drugs, you know, after my mom shot him. But after no, that's for real. That's real. That's not a metaphor. She actually blasted my dad with a 38 when I was 5. So he got into sobriety and fixed his life, 12-step program, whole thing. But he kind of got it together. He got in the trades and he did commercial plumbing. So for the city of Austin, so big, you know, the big pipes and stuff and like all the new buildings. He did all that shit. And my stepmom was the traveler. So when I was, you know, teenager, that's when he remarried. And she liked to travel. So when they divorced, she was doing what all girls do, get out there and go do, right? So she took me to Frisco to see her brother. Some different places, and that was really neat. That's really neat. So I like that you can vacation with your kids, because that's the experience that in the moment they probably don't appreciate it too much, but
they have no clue.
Later in life they really look back and be like, that was really cool that my parents could do that for me. So
yeah, man,
that's awesome.
Blessing, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, the trades are the new era of where a lot of private equity groups are just rolling up a lot of trades left and right now. And that's how I got scooped up, was through private equity. And the trades are just, I mean, there's not a lot of trades people out there. And you know, life is supply and demand.
Yeah, of course.
Because there's not so much supply, not so many people going into the trades, it's making the value of the trades increase drastically.
Oh, millionaires are being, so blue collar service-based industry is printing millionaires right now. And here's why. Most of the people don't understand is that you have something called supply and demand. Very simple. It doesn't matter. Baby boomers hold the majority of the service-based jobs because they grew up before the internet. The generation that we're in right now that are working, the Z's and G's and whatever the fuck they are, you know, the youngsters, 30 and below, whoever the fuck those people are, they don't want to do labor. They want to be Mr. Beasts and work in the offices and go do that shit. They don't want to go out, work with their hands. So there's this massive opportunity for anybody with a T-Rex size pea brain that can go out and do stuff with their hands. And if you just happen to have an inclination for the internet, you're almost guaranteed to be a millionaire if you just don't fuck up life. Like, just do. Someone's going to buy your company because people don't want to do those things.
I've always said it, man. These people nowadays that get into the trades and they don't have this huge education and they don't have that business background or even the street smarts to really scale it.
Right.
With me back then, I didn't have people that I could just hire as a coach to help me fast track my success.
Right.
I had to study my competitors. I had to get in with the different contractors that were willing to teach me. A lot of these contractors are old school guys.
Gatekeepers.
I mean, bro, they're gatekeepers for real. They don't want to give up all the secrets and all the sauce.
Yep.
So it's different nowadays than it was when I was growing up. I wish I had somebody I could just call and, hire them, pay them a certain amount of money, and they would fast track my success.
Sure.
They could call me at any time and get on my team, and I'm going to fast track their success because I'm going to show them the ropes, all the things to do and the things not to do. The most important things are the things not to do, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you shouldn't do that a lot of people have to figure out the hard way. I had to figure it out the hard way.
Right.
Spent millions of dollars figuring it out the hard way. Marketing in certain areas, putting together certain marketing strategies, front-end offers that didn't work. Spent thousands and hundreds of thousands on different offers that didn't work. But if you get with the right people, get in the right circle, and somebody that's willing to actually give you the secret sauce, you can eliminate those and fast track your success so much faster.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I started Hooked on Sales, and that's why I do the coaching for people in the HVAC business, water damage restoration, anything pretty much home service related, because I can help them fast track their success so much faster.
No, 100%. So you probably, we'll say, have been in the high level of success. What would you give it a number? Last 7 years?
When you say high level of success.
Yeah, where were you? When did you start making the real money where you would define yourself as successful in your industry?
Shit, man, I started making the real money in my 20s.
Okay, 20s.
Literally, no bullshit. I could have bought Lamborghinis and all kinds of shit in my 20s, but instead of doing that, I bought boats. Well, because I'm a boat guy. I like fishing, all that stuff. But I could have bought boats and Lamborghinis, but instead of doing that, I wound up taking the extra money that I had that I could have been pissing away, going clowning and doing dumb shit. I took that money and kept reinvesting it back into the business to grow that business.
Yeah.
Truck after truck, employee after employee, more marketing, more markets, open up more market share and continue to grow the business. And I was a millionaire in my 20s. When it came down to really making the serious money in my 30s, I started to go on more autopilot as opposed to growth mode. And that's when I was able to keep more of the money in my pocket because I was on autopilot. And I got to a level where I didn't really want to get too much bigger. I just wanted to start keeping more money and living life more, going on more vacations, enjoying it, buying more real estate, start focusing on that generational wealth and that retirement fund instead of just focusing on growing the business. I already had the business to a level in my 30s where I was at 40 trucks. And I wanted to just keep it on autopilot at that point. Didn't really have a vision of selling the business until I got into my 40s. And when things started to change, when COVID hit and the multiples really changed for home service businesses, that's when it opened my eyes to actually say, you know what, shit, man, maybe I'll sell this thing right now because I can get the multiples literally went from 3x to 10x, 12x.
Yeah, because the baby boomers weren't making it through COVID.
Supply and demand, bro. Supply and demand.
You only have so many HVAC businesses that fold in a region, and now you have a real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So if you were to take a greenhorn, we'll just say someone that it was good with their hands, hardworking, and would just execute, what is it that you think that you could, where would you project their business be in, like 12 months? Like from zero, and say they had $50,000 to invest. What do you think you could do with them?
Starting a new business.
Starting a brand new business. They don't know HVAC. I know what Freon is, and I know how some electricity, right? Like I know I have passed my basic functions that I need to install HVACs and stuff, but if you wanted to help someone scale, say, hey, look, I just started this business. We just started. We've done our
$1
first $1 million.
Easy million. Easy million.
Easy million.
If they know how to talk, if they have a talk game, if they're coachable, if they're trainable, somebody who's gonna shut up and listen and actually implement the strategies and the structures that I put into place, they're willing to get in a truck. They're going to answer the phones, book the calls. They're going to go to the calls, maximize value on every single call, follow up with the customers, and follow all the systems and processes, the front-end marketing strategy that I put together for them, and they really implement the back-end sales process along with the follow-up process. $1 million easy. A good salesman right now in the HVAC business can sell between $2 and $3 million if he's got enough leads and he knows how to talk.
Yeah.
He's got to have the talk game. He's got to know how to close. He's got to know how to overcome objections, and he's got to follow up, man.
Yeah, but that's not that difficult once you start putting in those reps. I mean, everybody would like someone with massive experience that's just a sales monster, but to teach sales, I don't really think it's that hard. I mean, if you believe in the product, all you have to do is talk with people and then understand there's maybe 4 common objections. I don't have the money. I need to talk to the wife. Right? Like that's it. Oh, well, let's just be clear. Money is the only problem with this deal. Yes, it is. What if I told you I could get you in this thing for no out-of-pocket money today?
Financing's key.
There you go. Financing's
right? Key.
And if you could roll that financing in-house, well, now you got something that's really fun.
You got the money to back it, but
yeah,
obviously getting relationships with Synchrony Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, and then a couple of these other banks that are out there that do bad credit financing. Bad credit financing is another secret sauce. Yeah. Having the relationships with all of the different banks that have all of the different programs out there.
Sure.
These are all the keys. And people, a lot of these small guys, they don't even think about the financing. They only want to do cash deals or credit card and things like that. They're leaving 40% of the business on the table and walking away from it because they don't want to offer financing.
That's crazy.
And it's so simple to get set up. Financing is the easiest thing in the world to get set up.
Couple clicks nowadays. That's it.
Literally,
man.
It's
a couple clicks. Like I have financing for my business.
It
was a game changer.
Science.
It was a complete game changer in my area of business. Because we're not dealing with small numbers like $100. It's a few thousand to tens of thousands. And do you guys do financing? Yes, we do.
Yep.
Boom. That was a game changer. The moment I got financing in my business, I closed like 3 high tickets in one day. I was like, oh, wow. This is it.
The game right there.
It switches the game. And then the financing company, I used Affirm and Klarna, but they hold the note that the customer owes. So they don't owe me.
Right.
Affirm or Klarna pays me, and then the customer's responsible to pay the intermediary.
100%.
So my payment's 100%, even if they default. So that was kind of interesting. I was like, I love that.
In the home service game, the big ones are Wells Fargo and Synchrony. And they offered a 0% deals, like 0% for 36 months, 0% for 48 months, 60 months.
Yeah, awesome.
Even 0% as low as 12 months. And each one of those tiers cost the contractor a different percentage. So for like 36 months, might cost the contractor 13%.
Yeah.
For 60 months, cost the contractor 22%. So when you're selling these big ticket deals and you're going to offer someone financing, you need to build in that 22% as an expense in your product.
Right.
And you got to understand how to do that and how to really trigger the customer into taking advantage of that financing.
Sure.
But there's also the way that I've built my business is I've structured it into my custom software that I've been building for the last 20 years. And I'm going to have that custom software available. It's going to be launching pretty soon. That custom software is going to be available to all the smaller home service business operators, the bigger ones too, but a lot of the bigger guys already have something. The smaller guys are still working on pen and paper and stuff like that. They're going to want to get into this. It's going to be very inexpensive and it's top-notch software, man.
Yeah.
The software is badass. But that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, the software that I built basically puts together an estimate for the customer that gives them option 1, 2, 3, and 4, which gives them the option for 60-month, 48-month, 36-month, or 24-month financing, and then it also gives them a cash price. So if they take the cash price, my software automatically calculates the discount that they would have had to pay the finance company to pay cash. So now I'm giving them my regular price, let's say it's $10,000 for an AC system. And then that's for the 60-month financing. But once they get down to the cash price, I'm already discounting that 21% off of the 10 grand. So if you pay cash, cash is king, buddy. You can get this discount. You can get it for this price.
Yeah, smart.
And I get customers to really buy in those particular structures that way. And they like it. A lot of other AC guys aren't doing it that way. They just say, hey, it's 10 grand. If you want to finance, you can finance. If you want to pay cash, you pay cash. Doesn't matter. It's 10 grand.
Yeah, that's good. You gotta, what's in it for me? Always ask yourself, What's in it for the customer? And what I want the audience to understand here is consistently, as we bring entrepreneurs of different types on here, is that you see one commonality. What is it that my clientele needs and how can I solve that? Over and over and over again. Software as a service, SaaS. He created software. He already did all the hard work in his own business. Now he's going to market that to people in his niche that he's an expert in, where he knows they're struggling. So if you have good software that makes your life easier, less complex, higher accuracy, and there's abilities to, plug in sales teams and all kinds of cool things.
Yeah.
It makes you more money, not less.
100%.
So that's something the audience needs to pay attention to. If you're going to build something, is what is it that I can solve? And if I'm already doing something, where is the opportunity to solve bigger and bigger problems?
Yeah, man.
That's it. So that's a nationwide service. Maybe that's the only thing you do in the future, but who knows? That sounds like you stay very clean and everybody needs it. That does, service-based industry. So I love that. And opportunities are around us all the time. We just have to see them. Remember the little spinny things that the kids had?
Yeah.
Right? The little thumb things that they'd spin. I mean, someone created that idea and they sold a bajillion of them long before Shark Tank and all that shit on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Man.
They just couldn't keep up. And eventually it wasn't cool anymore. And something else replaced it. I don't know what it was. Like
fidget spinner, I think it was called.
Fidget spinner. What kind of a weirdo are you? Fucking adults fucking playing with your fingers. Like, stop. Get a hobby. Go to the gym.
I'll tell you, with the software, man, the beautiful thing about me building that software is I've been building that software for a long, long time. And I've actually built it throughout the years of being in this business. So as I saw a need for the software to solve a problem, I would go to my developer and say, if this software could do this, it would solve this problem and it would make efficiencies go up that much more. And then every time that my developer would implement some kind of new feature that we would roll out into the system, man, it was just incredible, the differences that it made in the day-to-day operations. I remember one time we would take 30 minutes to build an estimate. This was a while back. And we built this software to actually do all these calculations, to do all the different pricings, the option 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the software, once it actually did all of those calculations for us, it took my estimates from a 30-minute build time to create an estimate down to like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. And that's
crazy.
Game changing there.
That's crazy.
And it just, instead of having a guy tied up for 30 minutes, calculator, making notes, this and that, all of a sudden he just plugs some information in the computer and boom, it spits out the whole thing and it's ready to email, and you click the button, it fires it into the email, automatically puts the customer's email. So many different things, different features and different steps that made it change the whole game. And that's just like one little thing. And there's thousands of them.
That reduces. So every time you have a human input anything, you have opportunity for mistake. The most accurate humans are about 93% efficient. That means
100%,
7 to 10%. The experts are making mistakes. So if you can remove the human from the process, that's repeatable, where the machine is just doing a loop, smart software, AI shit, then your efficiencies go through the roof.
It's game changing. It really is.
Yeah, people are always the problem when it comes to typing in information.
There's been so many times where we put a feature in and I'm like, damn, I don't need how many people answering the phones now because we have this new feature.
Yeah.
And I don't like eliminating jobs. Don't get me wrong. I want to keep my people employed. I always took care of the people. I'm always there for the people. But I would look at it more in the fashion of how much more and faster can we grow now, because we have this game-changing solution in place. Right. And that would help me grow the business even more.
Yeah, efficiencies matter at scale. Efficiencies don't matter if you're the pen and paper guy. You have enough money to survive. Usually they don't care about growth or scale. But if you're interested in grow and scale, like, you have to hit the threshold and then figure out how to push beyond it. And you can't scale without efficiencies. It'll eat your staffing alive.
Yeah,
your profit margins dive into, you could go negative simply if you have a big enough company that's moving fast enough and scale. It's so easy to go negative, and it's just things like that. Someone that takes 30 minutes to input, they can only do 16 a day. Right. And they have lunch breaks, potty breaks, all that shit. I say potty publicly. They got to take a piss or a shit. Right. So I'm trying to clean up my language sometimes. So they're screwed. So now you can do a ton of estimates now with just one person.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's smart. And eventually, you know, that computer and that AI is going to replace, you know, a lot more people as it gets smarter and you know, the software gets better, and that's the nature of life. So maybe you know, before long they're replacing salespeople. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Salespeople are key in any business.
They really are.
When it comes to business, the two most important players are the people selling the jobs and the people following up, in my eyes. You know,
no, I would tend to agree with you.
I think that the follow-up game has to be on point, and a lot of people neglect that particular area in business. They just don't follow up.
If they have high turnover, they ignore it. So here's your business lesson for the day. Not that I'm a business expert, but hey, I've ran a couple multi-billion-dollar organizations, so I might know one or two things. But in my life, the two areas that are the most important in any business is marketing, fucking sales, period.
Yeah.
If you have those two that are just on lock, you have some just name takers and closers right there, your product could be almost dog shit and you will just move it. Now, you're not going to get any clients that are come around after you've served them a pile of dog shit, obviously, but you will sell the shit out of it, AKA a McDonald's hamburger. Right. So that is a dog shit product, but it's the same dog shit over and over again. Right. So they sell a ton of them, marketing, sales. Right. So now if you can apply that in your business and then clean up your product, then you have a whole loop. And, you know, that's not what Hormozy says. Hormozy says make the best product humanly possible, and then it just sells itself. I don't really agree with that. I think you need to have marketing and sales, and you can do anything with those two skills. Sure. The product could be garbage. I'll sell ice to an Eskimo if my sales process is tight. Yeah. They're like, I don't need that. I'd be like, you're crazy, bro. You could build a house out of this piece of ice. What are you talking about? It's like, you ever hear of windshield factor, bro? Frostbite on your little Wang Chung? Like, no, we need an ice house, bro. You need this ice. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, you're right. You just didn't sell them right. You didn't hit those pain points.
And then the new thing nowadays, and it's really not new, it's been around for quite many years, but that reputation, that online reputation means the world.
It does, yeah.
The review process, your street credit, it's the same as that street credit. You know?
Yeah, it is.
It is street credit ultimately in the business world.
Yep.
And if you have the right street credit, you're gonna be able to excel. You're gonna be able to grow.
100%.
It's very, very important to build that street credit as well. And a lot of people don't understand how to build that street credit. They do a great job, and they don't even ask for reviews. They don't ask for that street credit build. And you have to do it. You have to do it on every single customer. Getting online testimonials, getting video testimonials from your customers is one of the most eye-catching things that nobody does.
It's gold. It's gold.
Diamonds and gold.
It's gold. It's more. So here, I heard this story from Andy Elliott. Yeah. He sold cars, whether you like the guy or not, doesn't matter. He's a monster salesperson.
Sure.
But he was selling a car he couldn't close. And I don't know where he was at in his career. And there was a seasoned salesperson says, I'll close anything in 5 minutes. Dude walks in. He's like, yeah, right. Like, I'll put $100 on that. Walks in, old salty dog walks in. They're laughing and giggling, not even talking. They never even once mentioned the fucking car. Dude walks out, closed the deal, paperwork signed. And Andy asked the guy, he's like, what just happened? He's like, he opened up his phone. He showed him like the baddest testimonial ever in a video.
Yeah.
The testimonial closed the deal. He didn't even have to talk about the damn car. And one of the best salespeople in their whole business couldn't close them with the sales process. And then like that, he knew. He's like, the testimonial is the best salesman that ever existed. And it's someone else doing the selling for you.
100%.
Yeah. So question. I believe in that. I beat my customers so hard. The new coaching, new businesses, when they don't have testimonials, like you take out all the stops. You spend no matter what it takes to get yourself 10 dope testimonials, and your business will change forever. That's it. Every single day, you just show a testimonial, a new one, and you just rotate back and forth. They see it 3 times a month. Every single day, they're like, oh shit, people have a lot of good things to say about fucking Mike and his HVAC business. It does it for you.
That's the gold, man.
It does it for you. It's better than every ad. Actually, if you want ad game right here, all you need to do, pay attention to this. I learned this from the person responsible for the Mind Valley ads, right? $1 million a day or whatever Mind Valley does, something crazy. Like, they have whole ads that just do 30 seconds, 60 seconds of testimonials. Changed my life, changed my life, changed my life. Best thing I've ever saw, changed my life, changed my life. Best people I've ever worked with, changed my life. If you see that over and over again, before you know it, be like, my life's changed. Like, take my credit card, please.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're just ripping into you.
Just ripping into you with that social proof. Like, don't be scared of social proof. Like, yeah, you got to ask. It's part of your process.
Yeah.
You do business with anybody. Like, hey, can you give me a review?
Sure.
Yeah, I went to a, here in Brickell, Miami Brickell. And I like crab legs. And I'm from San Diego. There's a place called Crab Hut, whatever the fuck. It's like endless crab. It's amazing. And you're just like covered in hot sauce and crab chunks. It's the best. So I haven't been able to find a good crab spot. And there's one in Brickell. And I went there and I just do what everybody does. Crab. Type in crab in Google Maps. The first one popped up. It had a 5.0 rating. I was like, ooh, it must be good. Yeah. So I go in there and it was okay. And I was like, holy shit. And their process, they were massively aggressive on the reviews. So they ask for a review once they seat you, and then they asked for 2 after the bill comes. Hey, don't forget to do this. And then they came back around. I didn't leave yet before the bill. So when they handed you the credit card, when they hand you the bill, they take it off to go charge you. And when they come back after it's charged. So they asked me 3 times for a review. Yep. And now that's why I knew that place had a bajillion reviews. They are never going to be dethroned from a 5.0. They had more reviews than you could possibly imagine.
And you know, the craziest thing is it's a don't ask, don't get, and ask and you might get.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people just don't ask.
That's right.
And then they never get. They had a great experience, but because they didn't ask, they didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I've always taught all of my technicians, ask for the review, man.
Yeah.
Make sure that when you're sitting down at the table, after you're done, when you're giving that bill and you're giving the invoice, you ask the customer a few simple questions. Were you satisfied with all the service today? Is there anything that you see here that I have not completed that you'd like me to go over right now and handle? And if the customer says everything was great, that's that open door. That's that opportunity to say, hey, man, my boss really loves to see good reviews. Yeah. It would mean the world to me if you could just write something here on Google. Can I send you a link right now to Google and you write us a good review? And walk them through it. I tell the guys, walk them through it, send them the link and walk them through the review process. Because if you just send them the link and you don't walk them through it, they're going to yes you to death all the time. But if you don't walk them through it, your odds go down drastically on getting that review. But if you say, hey, did you get the link? Yeah, click it real quick. And all of a sudden, boom, you got them in the mode. You got them in the mood. You don't have to write a book, man, just a couple sentences and however many stars you feel I deserve. Done.
Beautiful.
That shit works.
That's
man.
Game right there, guys.
That shit works.
Take that, log it. It's like when you're on that second or third date with that girl and she says, hey, would you like to come over and Netflix and chill? You're like, you're goddamn right I am. You better take your go bag, do all your exercises, and take your little blue pill.
The iron's hot,
it's
bro.
time,
you better strike.
Right?
Shit.
It's right. When your customer says, hey, I loved everything, that's your Netflix and chill moment. Get that review and walk them through it. That's it.
The most powerful time to do it is right then and there at the end of the job.
Yeah, when they're at their
emotional
and happy.
Yes, man, they're
That's
emotional happy, especially in the AC business. Air's
all
blowing,
business.
they're
all
cold.
Businesses.
They just came from sweating. But any business
is every single business. Same. I don't
yeah.
care if you're coaching, media, you run an 8-figure business. When the customer's on a high, get your testimonial.
100%.
2 months later,
100%.
Their AC could have been struck by lightning. They're like, screw this place. Act of God, I don't like that last place. It was bad luck. Like, don't ever do business with them. When 100%. It's good, nail them. That's it. Right like there. Always, ride the momentum.
You got to strike when the iron's hot. That's the same shit when I sold my business. When I sold my business, people were like, Mike, why are you going to sell now? Why not wait a little bit longer? I was like, dude, the iron's hot. The money's there. The multiple's there. I got a buyer right now who wants the place. I'm selling this shit.
Yep. We'll do something different. I'll figure out. I'll make money with pancakes, bro.
Yeah, I ain't
like
worried
that's
about
it. Like I'm good. Like
I made money from nothing here. I'll make money anywhere else.
You know the business now. You know the basic pillars of the business: sales, marketing. You have fulfillment, and then you have some administration on the back. Like you're a master at all those things. So it just doesn't matter what you do. You want to do another business of a different type. It's the same damn thing.
It's all the same shit.
A car's a car.
You
it's
implement
got 4
the
wheels
same
and
blueprint into any business, especially for me, it would be home service related because I have that blueprint. Yep. I know what works. I know how to implement all the different systems and processes, delegate all the responsibilities, the training processes, all the different things that I know that I need
money.
to do in order to make that business successful. I could do it in any business.
Yep. If there's profitable businesses, you give me a blueprint that works in one, 9 times out of 10, it's going to minor intelligent tweaks on a product or process or an offer, but it's the same everywhere. When I got my online business blueprint from my guru, my coach, he says, hey, I do this thing. I'm in this niche. Here's a blueprint. Here's how to post. Here's how we're going to make the content. I took that thing, I looked at it, and I gave it a shot. I was like, this is really hard. There's a lot of competition in this niche. And I'm like, I'm not the guy for that niche. I wasn't that interested in it. And I just knew, but the blueprint was the money. How to bring in leads from social media, push those people down a sales funnel. That was the $1 million thing in his business. It wasn't the niche that he was in. Right. It was the process that works everywhere that was gold. And I took that process and moved it over a different business. There are 3 people that clients from my coach that were in the niche, the fitness niche. They took his process and applied it to other businesses and blew up. I remember them in the calls. Every one of them, all of us make over $100K a month. All of us. One of them does it with his phone. No overhead, right? That's it. A little sales staff, a little bit of ads, and his damn phone. And he's in a completely different niche. And it was the big picture process. So when you hear like somebody like Mike or anybody, pay attention to the pillars of the business and the blueprint that he talks about. Yes, it'll work on that, but a lot of times these things are universal. They're conceptually work in almost every business.
Yeah, man. Yeah. One of the most important things that I always say to anybody that's coming up in any kind of business is when you're making that money and you're at that hot streak where you're really making that money, start putting some of it into some form of investments that are going to kick you off residual income. Now, I know a lot of people say real estate is great, and there's a lot of people that say real estate is not great when it comes to the rental business. Right. I've had a great experience with the rental business. Don't get me wrong. I got aggravations and headaches just like everybody else in the rental business. I rent all my places in the hood. Right now, I got 62 doors, and it's not a lot. It's not easy, but every one of them's paid for. If I have a few vacancies, who gives a fuck? Yeah. You know what I mean? I just fill it again. I get first, last, and security. It's another $5,000 in my pocket, whatever. And then I put some money away for the security and all that good stuff. But it's a great business. And when you're really making money in whatever business you're in, you pile it into something that is going to give you that generational wealth and that cash flow on a monthly basis. Right now, I know with my real estate game, I bring in around 80 grand a month just in the real estate. And that's easy money for me. Yeah, that's like mailbox money. We want
to pause right there is that you had to take your active income.
Yes.
And then push it into something not for today sometimes. Sometimes it's for 30 years into the future, 20. Yeah. It's when you're old and you don't feel like doing any of this shit. You're old like me or worse, if that is even humanly 20s, possible.
Man. What happened?
Well, you know what I mean.
We switched the game now?
Yeah, we switched the game. Oh, shit, I gave it up. Hey, all you 20-year-old skirts, stop DMing me. I'm older than you think, so it's not worth it. I have too many issues you don't want. I already have one that tolerates me. You guys are just screwed. So, and you gay guys, stop. I'm not your type. Stop. So do this. So just pay attention, guys. Pay attention to what Mike says. He's an expert in a field. I know you're going to learn something here. Look him up, send him a message on his Instagram and creep on his shit. Send him those messages, gay guys. No, but learn from him.
None of that shit. I've already had to block so many. I don't want to deal with that shit, man. That's just kind of
crazy. Learn from him because there's lots to learn here, guys. He's dropping gems that you didn't even know that this was a masterclass. We were supposed to be just chilling, like having a good time, and then we're gonna go eat. We're gonna do some maybe Tootsies. I don't know. It's like a slow Wednesday or Thursday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I'm an entrepreneur, but pay attention here because he's dropping gems and you're going to miss them because he's at such a high level. They just seem too simple. The things he's saying seems too simple and a layman or a junior in the industry is not going to understand. But I want you to pay attention and then reach out to him and ask him a question about a topic because these are serious gems. These are the gems that are going to be a difference between you being a bum or you being in a position where you're driving exotic cars and have 60 to 100 rentals and are at the top of life at a certain point. Like, pay close attention here because it's not that hard to build a business, scale it, and then dump it in 3 to 5 years. You could be a gajillionaire, like multiples, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars if you just listen to the right person, do the work, and put everything back into the business.
I'm already back into the AC company again. I got another AC company with 5 trucks on the road right now. That shit runs on autopilot.
Just because it's fun for you.
Just till my non-compete's up. Once that non-compete's up, I'm going back to 40 trucks. In 2026, my non-compete's up here in a few months and towards the end of the year. But in 2026, I plan on putting another 20 trucks on the road quick.
I want to talk to you. I have an opportunity for you. I don't know. Maybe you want to hear
quick, fast, in a hurry.
We'll talk offline. It's too good.
All right.
It's too good to do. But
let's do it. Let's talk.
I would discuss a place that needs HVAC where there's no competition.
I love that. If there's demand and minimal competition,
massive demand.
That sounds very
don't even want to talk about it. But we're doing business, so that's it. It's one of those things. Like you just probably not smart to not do it.
Getting into the developer game as well.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm building a couple of duplexes. I got a land that I'm building some more duplexes on. Every time I build a duplex, it costs me a few $100,000 to build a duplex, and it's worth $5.
Yep.
So flip them, make some money on that. The development game is a whole nother chapter of my life that I'm just opening the doors on.
It's got good margins, man. Good margins. I need you to hit up my guy, Eric.
I was about to tell you, I've been watching Eric's stuff and I see what he's doing. And he's in the $1 million mansions.
He's the second builder that I've fucked with in the last year. And they're both like psychopath, like big guys.
Well, one of the things I've learned is the bigger the ticket, the bigger the profits.
Yeah, more margins.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so much money in a $200,000 deal.
Yep, 30%, 30%.
But in a $10 million deal, there's a whole lot more dollars in that. It might be the same percentage margins, but the dollar amounts
it's not that much more work. That's the thing. To build a small house, it's like six months, and to build a really big multi-million-dollar house
8 months,
might be
months.
8 to 12.
Yeah,
that's not that much more in the paycheck is humongous.
So you can make $100,000 in 6 months, or you can make $1 million,
multi-million,
or multi-millions in 8 months to 10 months. Sign me up for the multi-million.
I think he said he did eight $5 million house, 6 to 8. Don't quote me on the numbers here. I'm old. I don't remember every little gnat's ass detail that he said.
It's
but
insane.
I think I heard 6 to 8. He did them in a year, and each one of those was between 3 and 5. And he's doing 20. He underwrites everything between 20 and 30% margins. So you do the math.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it.
Insane.
You do the damn math. He gets his investment back, and he makes a profit. So, yeah. I mean, I've known that from the beginning.
That game is real.
Yeah, I started injecting value into the houses I would purchase. So I've had rentals for a little bit now, 20 years. And I would do the same thing. I would buy, before I even knew it was a thing, I would do, what was it, the rehab? So rehab, rebuild, and then remodel and resell or something. I can't remember what a little fucking ditty is. But basically, I would buy the cheapest house in the most expensive neighborhood I could afford with the largest lot. And then I would add to the home, physically add to the home, and then resell it, remodel, resell it. And that's how I live in it, remodel and resell it. And I did that in almost every house that I had since I got out of the Marines. So since I was 28. And that has been highly effective, but that's where all the margins were. I was like, oh, I would just get all the contractors to do all these things because building a house is not super complex. You got to think it's not rocket science. It's just fundamentally, I was a Lego guy, right? As a kid. So like building a house is just a big Lego with 8 trades, seven trades. Like it's not that complicated. It makes sense. Like it's just a little scary because it's like, oh, it's a house, but it sticks, a few wires, and some shiny shit built to code. It's like not that crazy.
It's crazy. The thought about getting around the right people to really give you that mindset shift is the key in everything.
It really is.
You see, I used to be around people who were just talking about buy a bunch of rentals, you'll live comfortably, you'll have a great life. And that was my mindset. And as I got into the rentals and started to evolve into more things and getting around more people, different people that are in the development space, Eric, I haven't really been around Eric, but I've been around a couple of other people that are in the development space.
Yeah.
And they've shifted my mind. And then watching Eric also has really started to shift my mind even more to say, shit, man, I could get into the development space.
You really could.
I got the GCs, I got the HVAC guys, the electricians, I got all the trades.
And you're local.
And
they
I'm local.
Trust you. Yeah.
It's easy.
It's really not.
And the most important thing, I got the money.
That's
shit.
Why aren't you calling Eric? Why don't you call that guy up and be like, bro, come on, put me on game. Make a deal. You make a deal. Like, This is a network, and when you have entrepreneurs at certain levels, like you guys just make money together. That's
it's
how
all
it is.
about the network, man. They say your network is your net worth, and I don't like the whole cliche thing about talking all the different cliche things.
Don't talk in platitudes.
But it's the truth, man. At the end of the day, if you get in the right room with the right people and you pay your fair share to learn from those people,
100%.
Can't be a fucking leech and try to learn from all these people for free, man. That's some bullshit. You got to pay your fair share, learn from these people, and then take that sauce that they give you and go cook with that shit.
Yeah, it's really not that complex. If you're painting in a bubble, right, and you're just doing your own thing in your own world, you only have so much exposure to lessons learned, knowledge, and what that's going to cost you is time. If you see what's on my face, I've ran out a lot of time. I don't have time anymore. So the one thing I do know how to go get is fucking money. So I'll take my money to save me time. And if it's a new thing with my tenaciousness and how hard I work and I ask questions and I look shit up and I figure it out, like I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not afraid to go bust. I'm not afraid to bet it all on me. So when you take that personality, I know if I want to go do HVAC, I call him. I say, hey, bro. I was like, put me on game. I don't care what it costs. Just send me the fucking invoice. Like, save me the time. He's like, yeah, we're going to do this. My job is to go do as fast as possible so I can learn the next lesson. Yeah, fucking Mike, I shit myself here at this process. Oh, you just needed to go this way instead of that way. That's what those people are for, because they save you time. If you want to be successful in 3 years or less, you had better hire a mentor. I want to be a millionaire in 3 years or less in every business that I do. And now it's accelerating because now I have the relationships. So I have the big people that if I hit a marketing challenge where I want to run $1 million in ads a day, I call my marketing guy that does $1 million in ads a day. Yeah, bro, I want to make $2 million a day. Meta won't let me spend the money. How do I spend more? And he's like, I just need to call the guy inside Meta for you. Give me 5 minutes. And they'll turn up the dial, hit a fucking tweak on the computer, and now I can run, $30,000 in ads today.
That's a who you know scenario.
It's these people, that's what they're there for. In my generation, we had to figure shit out on our own. We had to go walk and do market research and we had to go to job sites and see, where's the GC at? Like, is he coming? And then grab the guy, be like, bro, like, I noticed you were doing this thing. Like, let's talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, my name's Mike, super busy on this new build here. Hey, here's my number, bro. I'd love to take you fucking dinner one time. Like, just chat it up about the business. I'm new to it. I've hit a couple problems. I'd love to float some questions by you. I do this other thing if you're interested in that. But if you have the time, let me know and I can compensate you, no problem. Like, you'd be surprised how people be like, sure, no problem. Like, you're going to pay me to have lunch. You seem like a cool dude. And I'm going to give you some knowledge that you might be able to apply and then refer me more people to help. Like, that's the kind of shit you want to do in business, is that relationships. That's how we did it a long time ago. Now, you pick up this thing, you creep on Mike's shit, be like, yeah, he looks like I like him. He's doing some cool shit in industry I like. Oh, I see his testimonials. One message, boom, Mike, let's work together. Tell me how much. Done. Now you're in a whole new league.
That's it, man. That's it. At the end of the day, you just got to get with the right people.
It's a new world that we live in.
And you can't be scared of somebody who's going to give you a little bit of rough around the edges education. Because if you get somebody that's going to sugarcoat shit for you, I mean, is that really what you want?
Nah.
You want somebody who's going to tell you like it is. Yeah. You look at all the greatest coaches that took their teams to the NFL. Were they really nice to the teams? You know what I mean?
Nah, they're calling shots.
Or were they shot callers?
They're calling the shots,
you
bro.
know?
They're grabbing those big ass linemen by the throat.
Straight up.
You had better block my $4 million a year quarterback right now, or I'm going to rip your head off.
And they all love their coach.
They love him.
You know what? Because he gives it to them real.
Yep.
Not some sugar-coated bullshit. Give it to them real, but give them the real advice that's going to take them to the fucking promised land.
All right. Coaches pull the best out of you. We're almost out of time here, Mike. I want you to close it out for the audience right now. Hit them with it. Tell them whatever it is that you want to close them with, and give them something to remember you by, bro.
Listen, guys, if you want me to help take you to the promised land, you need to call me. You need to hit me up on Instagram, and I'm going to help you in every single way that I possibly can. Because my goal is to make sure that I create millionaires all throughout this space. Nothing makes me feel better than to see you succeed and to see you actually take your business from one level to the next level and continue to grow that business to a point where you're DMing me, showing me the thank yous, sending me videos, showing me the love. That's what fuels my fire. Don't get me wrong. I want to be paid for it, obviously, but I want to take you to the promised land in the home service space. So hit me up at Mike Forgione on Instagram, YouTube, same thing at Mike Forgione, and just hit me up, man. I got you.
It all starts with a belief and then sending that message to the mentor that you vibe with. Mike's one of those guys. He's dope. He lives that life. Big, tall, ripped, handsome guy is worth, millions of dollars. Hey man, my kind of guy. I don't deal with bums around here. So if you can't do what you're told and you're not coachable, get the fuck away from me. But all you people out there that believe you have what it takes to carve something out of nothing, man, find whatever it is that you're interested into it and then pour into it. And hopefully you start with yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace.